Good afternoon, viewers. This is Women Speaking. As per usual in this program, women will be leading bold conversations on governance, justice, democracy, and the future of this country. My name is Nancy Caroline Ayot. I am your host. Today's discussion is both a moment of reflection and reckoning. We begin by honoring the life and the legacy of Honorable Mary Karooro Okurut, a trailblazer in politics, literature, and women's empowerment. Her passing leaves behind a powerful legacy and also questions about the future of women in Ugandan political leadership. Then we shall shift our focus to the surge in the interest for Uganda's presidency. With over 160 aspirants and at least 15 women, what does this mean for democracy, for meaningful representation, and the quality of leadership in this nation? Joining me in studio today are a panel of distinguished guests. I'll introduce them starting from my extreme left coming in. We have in the house Kanya Rachel Peace. Kanya Rachel Peace is from the UPC. She's a youth leader in the Uganda People's Congress. Peace, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much. We also have Miss Peace Marisha Akelo. She is a presidential aspirant. Peace, welcome to the show. We are so happy that you honored our invitation.
I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you so much. And we have a show regular, Miss Bashira Nantongo. She's a lecturer at IUIU and also a woman MP aspirant at Busiro North, in Busiro North constituency. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure joining in, and I'm not a woman candidate. I'm a parliamentary candidate for the direct seat of Busiro North.
Oh yes, I beg to be corrected.
Well,
yes, I beg to be corrected. So we shall begin with our eulogy segment, and I would like to read the eulogy. Mary Karooro Okurut will be remembered as a scholar, a writer, a stateswoman who gave her life to service. From her early years as a lecturer at Makerere University, she inspired students with her love for literature and critical thought. She went on to form FemRight, a creating powerful platform for Ugandan women writers, and authored novels that explored culture, gender, and society with depth and clarity. Her journey into public service was equally remarkable, serving as a press secretary, legislator, and cabinet minister in several key portfolios, where she championed education, gender equality, and social development with compassion. Beyond her titles, she was a mentor, a bridge builder, a culture steward. She earned respect across political divides, uplifted women's voices, and left behind initiatives that empowered communities. In recognition of her extraordinary contribution, Uganda is according her a state burial, a fitting tribute to a life of influence and service. We celebrate her as a literary giant, a devoted public servant, and a mother to the nation whose legacy will continue to inspire others. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Amen. Well, ladies, once again, I would like to welcome you to the show, and I am honored that you came on board despite, your challenging schedule, especially during the election year. So I would like to begin the conversation with you, Ms. Akelo. Yes, I would like to begin this conversation with you. And you're one of the few women who have formally picked presidential nomination forms. What motivated you to enter such a crowded race, and how do you intend to distinguish your vision among over 160 aspirants?
Thank you very much. I am honored to be here once again. Peace Marisha Akelo is my name. I would love to reintroduce myself, an aspiring presidential candidate in this race. What really motivates me, it's a lot, given the political landscape of this country, that has been shrinking over time. It as well comes off as a surprise that the race is this crowded. When you look at the history of women in politics, and most importantly, the presidential race, you get to realize that we've had at least one woman each presidential,
Yes.
of elections actually. And it took thoughtfulness, it's not something that we just woke up in the morning and then we're like, let's go pick the nomination forms because other women are picking. So we took considerate time to think about it. But most importantly, more than I am a woman, I am a young person, I am a youth. So what drove this whole aspiration was majorly the young people. I am a history student and I've gotten myself to love books more and more. What really surprised me is how little of my history I knew. And when I was in school, most of the times when I learned history, it was majorly to cram and then go to class and answer and then walk out. So I got to realize that when we talk about civic education, most importantly, it is let's vote so and so out and bring in so and so. So our people are not well acquainted about what to expect from the leaders, and most importantly, to tell the leaders that this is what we want. So we wanted to do something different. We're like, okay, the political landscape is so bad that, it's either politics of for or against. But then we want to have politics of ideals, we want to have politics of ideas. We want to see ourselves bring more value onto the table, that regardless of who wins the election, there's something to take away. That was the first motivation.
Yes.
Then getting back to civic education, we wanted to comprehensively explore the aspect of peace. More than it is an identity, because I think when someone hears peace for Uganda, the first thing that gets into their mind is, we already have peace. What do you mean? And then I'm like, what do you mean we are talking about peace when actually most of us had to struggle so hard to have access to quality education? What do you mean we are having peace in a state where mothers are crying in courtrooms for the justice of their children? We're having political prisoners who have not gotten justice till now. And I'm not saying they are maybe, innocent men, but all I'm saying, can the justice system be as swift to deliver justice to the people who deserve it? If someone ought to be sentenced, then give it to them. But then we've also seen how people sometimes have been, dragged through the turmoil of injustices, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, he was innocent, we've dropped the charges, after all the time that is wasted. So we're like, okay, we want to redefine peace. We won't want to talk about peace when actually when we go to birth children as women, we are going to sleep on the floor because there's a surge in the hospitals, there are no hospital beds and all that. So that was also the major thing. You ask what it would take for us to distinguish our candidature in, this whole race that has a number of people. I think standing out to be true to yourself, the authenticity, trusting your conviction, and most importantly, your integrity. I've always told people one of the things that I pray for is to walk out of this race incorruptible. That's one of my biggest wins. I'll be like, God, thank you very much. I didn't have to take on something that I didn't have to take on just because I desperately wanted to participate in a race. And like I tell people, presidency is just a little bit of what someone can do for their country, because there's a lot more. We've seen leaders who have occupied space and then, they've delivered nothing, even when you talk about experience. So yes, I think I'll stay true to myself. I'll be authentic. I'll be able to deliver what I want to deliver. And most importantly, not being able to play drama here and there to be noticed. So obviously quality will be able to notice quality, and yeah, that's
Speaking
it.
of drama, people say that the number of presidential aspirants is just some sort of theater show and more drama. It's just a political spectacle. What do you say about that, and how do you position your candidature in response to that?
It's being able to deliver value at the end of the day. When you listen to Peace speak, what is she bringing onto the table? That's one of the most important things, because that alone distinguishes you. I don't think I have to go on and, maybe wear shorts and then, come out all messy and then speak liberation, all that. But when I choose to speak, and then what I speak actually correlates with the masses, that when a Ugandan listens to our message out there, they're able to be touched, that's a win for us already, Standing out, being authentic, that's all.
Thank you so much. I am very inspired, and I was a bit captivated that I totally forgot that I was supposed to introduce the next speaker. Thank you, Peace. So I will bring you, Bashira, to the conversation. So as a lecturer and MP aspirant, how do you see the relationship between civic education and meaningful political participation, especially for women in 2026 elections? Is Uganda ready for issue-based campaigns rather than personality-based politics?
Thank you, Nancy. I'm honored sitting with Her Excellency and listening to her talk. Really, it's energizing. She's an energetic young woman. So to me, I see there is a huge relationship between civic education and politics, because basically it's something that the current government has actually taken from the citizens. But I'm saying that to a certain extent, of course. We shall not blame the government always, even when we have resources that we can use to actually be better citizens. But it's a deliberate move to make us not civically aware. That is why there is a huge relationship, because civic engagement itself, it entails a lot. Actually, democracy should come from civic education or civic engagement. You knowing what your rights are, you knowing what your responsibilities are, you knowing what we are expecting from you as a citizen, as a woman, as a young person, is what makes the democracy. So there is a huge relationship in that. If there is no civic engagement, there can never be democracy. That is why you see a few people will listen to this young lady speak. Basically, now we've gone beyond the politics of ideas. Yeah. They will not want to listen to her. Even when she's speaking sense, they would want to go, who has the majority? Who has, they want, it's no longer ideology. It's no longer ideology, and it is saddening. I don't know whether it's a deliberate move. We see the government, in our last conversation, we talked about the issue of monetized politics. Yes. And I'm like, the first people that are going to beat that are the current government. Because money is what is keeping them in power. Without the money, they can never be anywhere. So to me, it is something we should engage in, that if we are to have the democracy we are wanting, or the democracy we really want for our country and our children, the legacy we want to leave, the way our honorable, we are paying tribute to her because of the great work she did her part. So if we honestly also want to do our part, we need to know that we have to move with two things: democracy and civic education, hand in hand. Because civic engagement, civic education will keep us in check. Where are we losing? And also critiquing the poor services or the poor work that we can be offering at the time. And again, I doubt whether Uganda is yet ready for the politics of ideology. I honestly doubt. And it's saddening. I remember last week I was at the National Youth Parliament, and the Speaker of the Parliament passed a policy, and I'm like, so now this is what really happens in Parliament. We hear one word, I. That is passed.
The
However much
the
I are low, and the nay are many, the I will have, even if it's one I, the I will always have it. Because in the conversation, we are talking about how young people can be engaged, can be included in politics. Like, how can we make them more interested? How can we pave way for them to actively participate? And my questions were very simple. Are youth still a minority group? They refer to us as a minority group, yet we are over 78% of the national population. We are still voting under electoral colleges, yet we are 78% of the Ugandan population. We are still taking, we don't even know our MPs in our regions. Are you getting it? So it's a control, it's a deliberate control. Could be they are scared of us, or could be that maybe we also have not demanded our rights. So that goes back to the issue of ideology. Even the young people, I was asking the speaker, I'm like, these are the issues you should be tabling. Why isn't it that all the people in this National Youth Parliament can't vote for their MPs? They have a vote. They are young people. Why do we still vote through colleges? So these are issues we need to talk about and address the bitter realities. Even when it comes to women, I appreciate people like Honorable Miriam Matembe. She didn't come. But Miriam are the people that fighted for women to leave the electoral colleges. Women were also voting through colleges. So now it is something young people, it's not actually a topic. But it's something that really should capture our attention.
So let me just say this. There is an influx of young people seeking electoral positions this election year, 2025, 2026. Very many of them, and including Marisa, are going for presidency. Some of them are going for member of parliament seats, local council elections, special interest group elections. Is this a sign of the civic awareness that we're talking about? Is it a sign that there is a shift in the political climate? What is it not a sign that they're actually interested in changing the country?
It's actually a sign of many things.
True.
It's a sign of many things. First of all, we need to know that what brought in the influx of many people aspiring for presidency is basically after we scrapped off the age limit. When we did tamper with the constitution, remember, when you put a lot of pressure somewhere, there is a certain place you are living, a gap.
Something has got to
Yes.
give.
With all due respect, I respect my dear sister here, but what I'm trying to bring in is when you close the door of minimum, is it age limits? You left a lot, and young people want to challenge you. You know, when we were growing up, you could not tell everything to your father. They'll be like, some of these things you even collect the guts of telling them when you're 30 years old, like, nah, daddy this, you get.
Yeah.
So now the mere fact that you scrapped up the age limit, you are paving way for even young people to openly challenge you. To me, I would say it is an insult to democracy. It is an insult to democracy, especially when a 40-year term serving president is challenged by a young person who has not seen any government apart from his.
I
It
don't,
is okay. I'm not saying it in a bad way.
True.
But the one I'm saying it is
True,
that
it's okay.
he's our grandfather. He calls us Bazukulu. If a Muzukulu can stand out and tell you issues, and moreover that are real, these are realities. She's speaking from experience. She has suffered under the education system of this country. She has suffered under the health system. We are facing realities. Why I'm saying it is an insult, it's because if a young person like her can see that and look into your eye and want to sit on the same table with you who has served the country for 40 years, what have you been doing?
okay, just to clarify, it's an insult to
The president.
to the president or the young people.
No, for us, we are proud of her and we support her. And we actually believe in all the issues she's tabling. Why I'm saying it is an insult, it's because you have been there for 40 years.
And you've not addressed the simple issues.
And these issues are even seen by a young person seeking now to sit on the same table with you. With 40 years, actually people call him the African giant. That man is a very brilliant man. Shocking. People listen to him. African presidents consult him. So I don't know what is, and that is why I said it even in the first place, that it's a deliberate move to make us not get interested in civic engagement. Actually, I think I should go back to the issue. I saw a video of PL Olumumba saying the 3 categories of people in a country: the idiots, the tribalists, and the citizens. Are you getting it? Yeah. So depending on which category you fall, an idiot will always believe her. The peace you were talking about. Let me close my door. You get? They will not care whether there is anyone outside of the door not having the same favors he is having. The rich who close their doors and put on CCTV cameras and also lock doors with passwords so that their families and themselves are safe. Those are the idiots we have. And there are very many. We go to the tribalists. You remember what happened with the Mabati issues? When MPs stole Mabati, they went back to their constituency and the speaker was asking the people of Masaka where this lady comes from. I'm forgetting the name. And they're like, now I think it's Sisi Namudu. Sisi wayaba yariana fe. You get? When you do something wrong as Nancy, your culture and the people who believe in you, the people who share the same identity with you, will hold the curse. He's a thief, but he's ours. She's a thief, but she's ours. They will ignore all the things you are affected, that are affected because of your service, and focus on that. And the citizens, who are this young lady who is singing up and she is boldly standing out? So these are issues that we really need to table as women.
Well, thank you so much. That was deep. And just to follow in the same trend of the conversation piece, Rachel piece, I will bring you to mainly talk about other gaps that we have seen, and one of which is the internal political party disputes. As a person from UPC, you have seen the grappling for the presidency, but also you've seen the lawsuits and the refusal to relinquish leadership by a former by the former president. So what do the rising number of independent youthful aspirants signal to you guys in UPC, and how are the youth of UPC responding to young people taking up more leadership?
Well, thank you for that question, and for having invited me here. Well, when you say that party is grappling, I would totally not agree with that. You know, there is a difference between the insiders and the outsiders.
Yes.
The insiders will always see inclusiveness and maybe party democracy and all that. Yet the outsiders are seeing total mess.
Yes.
This is not only in UPC but in all other parties. What the people inside, I keep asking myself, if we see that this party is really doing bad, why are those people still there? It's because the people inside are seeing contrary to what we see. So when you ask me where does this leave the youth, I will say, according to me, to be specific, UPC party, apparently the party is running primaries.
Yes.
And when you politically analyze this, we see that the number of youths and women who are contesting and applying for the party, the candidate aspirants, are high compared to the old men. You know, UPC is known for having old people, but now this time we are seeing young men and girls showing interest for leadership at different party structure. Like they want to change the party. I'll give you an example of the ongoing. No, the previous, we've just concluded electing the youth special group, youth interest groups, something like that. In Lira, all the positions there were stripped off by UPC youths. Meaning, UPC has youths who have showed up interest in taking on leadership. Though we haven't seen them take on leadership at the topmost position.
At the pinnacle.
But at least here, there is, because maybe they are following this thing of, if we start from ground, it will enable us to reach. I mean, you can't jump and start from up before laying structure here. So they're laying a foundation to see that right from the grassroots level, there is a youth. And then I can also say that the party itself is also doing a lot in it normally has what they call it ideology classes, and according to what I see there is that the party is doing more of training and empowering youths and women in these party ideologies, grooming them to be leaders. And I think that's why we are having leaders in the party at all levels. At least at all levels, there is a representative of someone from that party. So the party is doing it, so the party itself is doing its best to empower and train and groom. And the people it's grooming are also doing their best to see that they shine.
Thank you so much. So in a nutshell, the UPC youth are out there taking positions,
Exactly.
just like all the other youth of Uganda. Would you say that you said that is as a result of the civic engagement and the civic education that is going on in the party?
Exactly. This is as a result of civic engagement, because I realized this thing is no longer about a party now. Yes, we are. These are youth that subscribe to different parties. I'm now not only
You're
focusing
stepping outside the
on
party.
yeah, I'm not focusing on UPC alone, but also other political parties, because we are seeing youths coming out in all those political parties and are showing interest in leadership. So according to me, I'm thinking that it's now youths are seeing this as the only time they have to see the new Uganda that they want. Just like you say, they want to see what they were told. You know, when we were in school, they used to tell us we shall be the future presidents, and we are now in our future. So the fact that we are now in the future, because I mean, if you're youth and you're 35, which other future are you expecting to you know? It means this is the time, and we are living that time. So now they want to make the other slogan come to pass of I will be the president, of the slogan that the teacher used to say, you're going to be the president. So now they want to make it come to pass.
Yes.
So all youth at all in all political parties have showed interest, and they are coming up. That's why we are seeing people like my name Sekia. 22 years, you've also challenged me. I'm like, 22 years, and she's showing interest of, I was told I'm supposed to be the president. So it's time I come and I take on what belongs to me.
Yeah.
That's why we are seeing people like her coming up to show to challenge. And I think, as according to the when I was seeing news on Friday, it's like majority of people that have gone to pick the nomination forms are youths.
Yeah.
So meaning they are after seeing that the other slogan comes to pass, and honestly, everyone wants to see that.
Amen.
Actually, I want to hint on something.
Yes.
She talked about something very crucial, tampering with the constitution.
Yes.
Right? What did you expect at the end of the day? But I also want to relate it with the generational gap that we've had.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you choose to stay long in power, because I've been a writer, and at a certain point I wrote actually a piece that I titled To What End? To what end was the so-called liberation and the power struggle if 40 years down the road we are not seeing people buying into the vision, right? That some young people may actually get into the NRM just because they feel like that's where survival is, actually, but not because they truly believe in it. And maybe a few who as well believe in the ideology. So she talked about the youth being the majority. We've been victimized, actually. That when we enter this thing, it is like we are so vulnerable as the youth. They're giving us special interest positions. So at the end of the day, it's like they're telling us, this is your place. So you shouldn't cross this side. And then for those ones who would love to defy the system, they're going to be like, okay, is presidency open? I'm not saying that's what I really wanted. If the age limit was still intact, right? The constitution was still intact when it comes to the term limits. Let me say if we had term limits of, 2, and that is it, we would have seen actual mentorship and grooming of good leaders. So never know, some of us would have come in like in the next 10 years, obviously. You would have a woman who's grounded, because mentorship as well in the civic space has shrinked. Sometimes it's about who do you know? Who is going to be able to defend you and be like, please take up this young girl. You get to realize that talent alone is not enough. It's about talent and who do you know. I was in a foreign policy class, and our professor was telling us that nepotism is not bad, but what value do you bring to the table? That most people have gotten jobs through nepotism, but what do they bring to the table? We've seen a lot of young people who are being groomed actually to take up position. Do they have the interests of this country at heart? Because that is what really matters. That yes, the young people who have not showed interest right now, in 10 years they would be coming for presidency. 20 years doesn't mean that whoever will come in those years, because they were not young at the time we came in, they had the interest of this country at heart. And I love telling people that works can be manipulated. If I get to realize that this is how the system works, believe me, I am willing to bow to the whims of the system, go through the trenches, and I'm just calculating, if people could go to the bush for the years they went into the bush, and then when they get into governance, we are seeing all the shambles and the crumbling of this state, then meaning anyone else can do it, that they could go into hide, grooming and all that. And 20 years down the road, when we change systems, it's still just the same faces, it's the same intentions, just, different people.
So, speaking of nepotism, shifting spaces, I want us to come to the elephant in the room, which is the campaign trail. Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes, and we've had issues of violence in the subsequent elections. We've also had so many conferences saying let's have better elections this time. Let's bring peace to the elections. How do you intend to protect yourself, your people, and the people around you during the campaign trail?
Okay.
Knowing that some of these things might happen.
I love telling young people, if we are going to play politics the same way, we have no reason being in this space in the very first place. And I love telling people, politics is corporate interest. Its stakeholders are the people, right? Now, whether you're the CEO, whether you're the manager and all that, you're meant to serve the interest of the people who are like the directors and all that, because, they are the reason this nation is standing. So we ought to break what is, the highly monetized political landscape of this country and try to do things differently. Obviously, we are looking forward to finding cheaper alternatives, and most importantly, alternatives that are going to be here in years to come, right?
Yes.
This could be like digital campaigns. Now, that will as well call us to elevate our people. I love telling people that if you're a leader and you want to build a monument of yourself, you could think you're rising, yet in actual sense, you're just digging a ditch around the people. So the masses are going to shrink. So you get to stand alone, and on that little mass, let me say, like, see how you're seeing this table, and then I'm standing there as a leader. I think I am higher than the people. Yet in actual sense, I'm just alone. I am at the same level. I have not actually graduated from where I am. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to fall. So that is it. So it will as well call us growing with our people. Just like I said, it's the first time. I don't really think all people at least know the possible outcomes of the election and all that.
Yes.
But how do we use this time to be able to evolve this country into something that we would call, the digital campaign, that, our people are going to get away from the point of politicians have come, they're giving you the 2,000, the 5,000 for you to be able to vote. You understand?
Yes.
Because if we are to choose to do politics that same way, we are breaking no barriers. It is going to be the same continuous cycle. So most importantly, we shall see how best we do it differently, find cheaper alternatives, most importantly, but as well those ones that protect the team and the people who believe in me. And just like I say, our message is grounded on peace. I don't think at a certain point we want to go on provoking people and all that, because we also believe that the progress of a nation that we want to see will only thrive on peace. That the citizens are safe. I don't think just because at a certain point I want to be seen as a person for the people, I'm willing to risk the people around me, because we also ought to protect our citizens in this case. The last campaigns, we've seen political prisoners who are not yet out up to now. And the sad reality is life has to go on. Like, campaigns will still move, whether you're in prison, whether you're not in prison, whether you died or not. Politicians are going to come up with the same promises and all that, and politics doesn't end now. So what do we want to do? We want to come, do something differently in the most friendly way for the citizens, because these are our stakeholders. These are the people who are going to be here in years to come. Be able to incorporate visions that are going to work, most importantly. The world is tech driven now, so if we can use, you know, better alternatives like tech and all that, well and good. So that's the only thing I can promise, that we are going to try and use safer and more friendly alternatives while reaching out to the people to be able to protect the team, protect ourselves and the citizens at large.
Thank you so much, Marisha. I am again honored to listen to that segment of your submission, and I will come to you. We're also talking about the race because we know that you're in the race, and you know, lecturers, religious leaders have also recently joined the electoral politics, and they're being criticized as, you know, the big flux of people who are coming to more profitable areas of, you know, the economy and stuff like that. So what do you have to say about that, and how do you position yourself as a candidate who is an academic in this race?
I would want to address that, or to respond to that, giving you a clear example that when you look at Uganda's public service, teachers are one of the least paid. But regardless of that, we graduate students, thousands annually,
Yes.
from different universities. What does this communicate? It communicates the passion. Whoever chooses a teaching profession goes there with passion.
Yes.
And if I was made to choose who the right leader should be, I would choose a teacher. Because regardless of the different challenges, financial challenges, they still stand. And they have nurtured all the rich people you see around. They went through hands of teachers. So to me, I would say, even in Islam, pardon me to say this, they say that it was almost that extent that a teacher was going to be a prophet. Because everyone listens to the teacher, they grow, they shape, they lead, they are the champions of the civic education we are talking about right now. So to me, I would say that if teachers graduate from teaching to bigger service delivery, it would be something ideal the country would really want. Because now they are going to impact bigger populations and with bigger visions that are going to deliberately change the country. Because now we are dealing with a young population. Mostly we are the ones actually shaping the ideology. Who should you be? We look at children or students from who they really are and guide them to where they really suit or where they can serve best. So in other words, to me, it's not, I don't actually care about what people think about that particular transition. But me, I would really say that it is a deliberate move to maybe pull down a few categories of people, regardless of who they really are. And again, when it comes to the religious ideologies, these are people that shape our communities. Religion is what keeps us in check. You see the presidents bowing before the religious leaders and listening, because at the end of the day, we are serving God. Religion is what keeps us in check. Aside the civic engagement and civic education, whenever you know that at the end of the day you are serving God, you are not even serving the people. Because actually the reason as to why we don't even have the good leadership is because I believe I'm serving Nancy. But if at all I believe that I'm serving God, you know how we fear God? You know everywhere God is seeing you. So you know how now God knows I'm going to eat money for Mabati. If you really fear God, you will not take that money. So that is something we really need to, and I would really want if we had more religious and more people, teachers to be specific, joining leadership. To me, it will be full governance, to be a full house. And again, when it comes to that same issue, there are many issues they will talk about. Who a teacher is. Why would you move? Why don't you want me to move? At the end of the day, it is a calling. Leadership is a calling, but today it's unfortunate we've made it a profitable business. And to me, I would really want to question, and I don't know whom I'm going to send this to, because the same people I'm going to tell that please address this are the same people that actually want it to be the way it is. But if we really want reasonable leadership, we need to now check the monies or the payments that we are paying the public servants, most of the legislature. How much is an MP paying? Why wouldn't someone want to go there and get the sitting allowance and get the fuel and get the 225 million per month and get all other allowances? Why? Because we've put in a lot and people are really here. Wali was sent. They will look at it as a form of employment. They will not go because they want to deliver. So if we really want that, then we should check the expenses we give those categories of people.
Yes, and I think there is consensus about that, especially on the payment. I see everyone in the room nodding. But I want to play devil's advocate on the religious leaders. And this is from a sentiment that in the recent past, we have seen people use religion and religious institutions to justify some of the biggest social injustices. For example, infringement on women's rights, but also some other civic rights that some people deserve to participate and others do not, and they bank that on religion. Do you not believe that this is why people are strangely against religious leaders participating in civic engagement and politics? Anyway, as citizens, they must participate, but do you not believe that this is the reason why they do not want them to come into electoral positions, because the ideals of their religions are going to be imposed on a wider population that may not subscribe to their same ideals?
Actually, when I meant participation, I didn't think that you're talking about religious leaders standing in elective politics.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Religious leaders ideally should not stand. They are the advisors, unless otherwise. But they are the advisors, they guide. I was thinking about them taking part and taking control and maybe guiding the process. But when we now bring in the religious leaders, yes, I know they are God-fearing and what, but they should be the ones keeping us in check. Because now we are living in a country where we have several religions. We are living in a country where people believe, and some people don't even believe. They will say, now I'm not in a personal relationship with God, meaning they don't worship anything. It's a free world. So that means with all due respect, if we really bring in different religions, there might not be a balance and it will bring commotion. We have a lot of religions. Let the different leaders have subscriptions where they subscribe and where they get their guidance or their accountability from. But also when we talk about that issue of religious leaders, I would say that it is something, I don't know how to bring it properly, but when it comes to religion and serving, these things are totally different. A Muslim leader cannot serve a Catholic, because this one is now working on the rules of Sharia. You bring your issues now. For example, Patience here has given birth. Peace has given birth to a child, and the child is Muhammad's child. Muhammad is now a Muslim. There is nowhere in Islam where this woman is safe. That is why you didn't play devil's advocate, but you clearly brought out the issue. I wanted to maybe I got it in a wrong perspective.
Yes.
Because religions serve differently. They have their different books, their different basis on which they were grounded. So they serve differently and they have different interests at heart. But we really wouldn't want them to be a part of the political space actively, but we would want them to be the way they are doing. And I'm appreciating people like Kazimba Mugalu, people like Nachivinge. They stand out boldly and they say now the government should stop this, government should release this. That's what we want them to do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I am not the devil's advocate.
That's what you said.
Oh yes, Rachel Peace, listening to the entire conversation and how it is justified for us young people and you yourself, young people, to get involved in the political sphere. What lessons do you draw, especially from our late Honorable Mary, on impactful leadership? What lessons do you draw from it, and how do you think young people can be inspired by her legacy and story?
Well, you see, my mom once told me this statement. If you were not born, what was the world going to miss about you? If you were not born, peace, singa sakuzaala abakwetolodde bandi badde kiki bakumisingako. If you were not born, what would maybe your friends, the people around you, the community, this country and the world miss about you? It's a question that has taken me years to answer. But every time I think about it, what comes in my mind is, what have I so far done that if I die now, people are going to miss about me? Or people will say, you see, when someone has died, all sorts of lies are said. But what legacy have I left behind? So when you ask me about the late Honorable Mary Okurut's legacy, I believe she has left a good legacy. I happen to have been in Bushenyi earlier this year. And when I was there is a factory, there's a building I found. It was incomplete by that time. But when I was having a one-on-one talk with the people, they told me, Honorable Mary is constructing a factory for sanitary pads. Like she wanted to construct a factory for reusable sanitary pads. I am not so sure whether it's by the time of her death she had completed it. But that's a big legacy, because we all know among the many reasons as to why we have high rates of school dropouts, it's because we have normally girls drop out when they are affected with their menstruations. The girls that totally fail to raise the amount of pads. So here is a lady who had started a factory that was going to do this. And actually, when I interacted with these people, they told me she even gives out, like she donates reusable sanitary pads to the girls in Bushen. That's a big impact. And people in Bushen are really going to miss her for that. As if that was not enough, these people told me by then, because she was still alive, people told me how she started a vocational center where she was skilling girls and boys, I think youths, different aspects of life like tailoring, weaving, knitting. I mean, someone that has skilled you, to me, someone skilling you is better than someone that has given you money. Because this person that has skilled you has equipped you your lifetime. So when I look at that, Honorable Mary Okurut has left a very big legacy that for the people of Bushen, and they will always remember her for that. And I just don't know, because when you look at this, okay, I know it wasn't her role as an MP to do that. But I mean, in a situation where we have a government that is not providing all this, and here we have a leader who is taking on the initiative to see that she tries to reach out to the grassroots level, because the government is not going to reach out to the grassroots person Much as we have the skilling, the presidential skillings, I mean, even the people that are in the presidential skilling, not everyone is being reached out to. But here is a leader who's now trying to say that the lady or the woman at the grassroots level is being equipped with some knowledge. So people are really going to miss out. People are going to miss her, and we shall miss her.
May her soul rest in peace. Amen. So, ladies, we have come to the end of our show, and I would like all of you to give me 1 minute of your parting shots before we can close this powerful conversation. You know, we can keep going on all day, but you know, we only have so much time left. So I'll start with you, Rachel. Please give us your parting shots and a call to anyone or any type of advice, maybe to young people your age and to other women, but also to Ugandans as a whole.
Well, one call that I have for all women in leadership is one. As you are rising up, please rise up with someone. This means I'm calling for mentorship. We are having a problem. We keep saying she also talked about mentorship. She has also talked about mentorship. When I was with you earlier, we talked about mentorship. But do you know the problem we have with this mentorship issue? It's because the few women we see, the key, those powerful ladies we see and admire, we admire them from far. So they are mentoring us from afar, not close. Do you know why? It's because they are not bringing us closer to them. So they need to remove that. They need to bridge that gap. Yes, we do understand. Majority of them were also not mentored. And I think that's why they are also not seeing mentorship as something so serious. Because people normally say, Nzane yankwatako. Nemeza zekas manyoba, you know, bakana kambata, meaning she struggled alone to reach wherever she is. And now here we keep saying we need mentors, we need people to, but this person is not seeing mentorship as a big issue. So that's why I'm saying that as you are rising up, because now mentorship I think has to start with us who think it's so important. So we, the ladies, Her Excellency, her MP2B, I mean, she now has to start mentoring people to I believe that people people that are admiring her, the people that are admiring her, the courage, you get, yeah? So as she's rising up in these spaces, at least bring on someone with you. You hold someone's hand. Let this person walk your footsteps. As you are doing this, you are empowering this person, you are mentoring this person to be one of the great leaders. Because I believe not every one of us has to reach there. Some of us just have opened doors for other people to pass. I may want to be a president of Uganda today or tomorrow. But, because she's peace and peace, so I wanted to use peace. So she may want to be a president. But because I'm not going to be the president of Uganda, as she has showed interest. Let me open the door for her to go. How am I going to open the door for her? Giving her support. Encouraging others, I mean, telling others what she's capable of doing. You get, yeah? So some of us need to open doors for such people to go through. So that maybe when they reach there, we shall see that transition that we want. We shall see that new Uganda that we all want to have. We shall see that gender equity and equality that we are all yearning for, because she has been empowered and mentored.
Thank you so much. Please, Marisha, please, your parting shots.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to try and cut it short. I want to grow with the youth at the grassroots, and most importantly, the woman at the grassroots. I've had lots of discussions about women this, women that, and I'm like, where is the woman at the grassroots? Do these women have a voice, or they're just a statistic for other people to make decisions? Her talking about the late Mary Karooro Okurut, I love her so much because I read a book of hers when I was still in school. It opened me to a lot of thought and all that. And the fact that she has touched people at the grassroots, that's really very incredible. So what I'm trying to say is each and everyone out there who's at the grassroots, who's at the middle ground, who is already up there, try so much to uplift the people that are around you. Reason being, as leaders, we ought to grow with the masses. If we don't grow with the masses, we're going to become so alienated that these days people don't feel in touch with their leaders. You know, politicians only come back when it's time for elections. They're able to bribe you, and that is it. The moment they've made it, they first disappear. So I would really love for us to grow as a whole, as a nation.
Thank you very much. And good luck in the race.
Thank you.
Yes, Bashira, your parting shots.
My parting shots are, it's either the table is full or the path to the table is full. So that is not going to be discovered until young people and women leave their comfort zones and aim higher. If the size of your dreams does not scare you, you are not dreaming. You have to have that big dream that when you wake up at 3, you're even scared. Now how am I going to even do this? So it's either of the two. Either the path is making you feel like the table is full, or actually the table is full. But that is going to be discovered when we reach there and unseat whoever is not doing the table justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our viewers. We've come to the end of this show. Unfortunately, we had an interesting conversation remembering the legacy of Honorable Mary Okurut and also discussing the presidential aspirants and the aspiration to reach the presidency with over 150 aspirants. And our people say the young people are not playing, the young people are justified, and the young people need to be at the deciding table. My name is Nancy Caroline Ayot. Thank you so much for watching us, but also follow us, like, subscribe, and follow us with the hashtag at #WomenSpeaking on our different social media platforms. Thank you.